Aloha once again. My name is PJ, and this is your weekly Hawaii Sports Update. The NBA playoffs have begun to get interesting, with a couple of teams that were written off early have now turned the series around, and of course, the much anticipated Clippers vs. Spurs matchup. First in the East, the Cleveland Cavaliers swept the Boston Celtics, but not before taking a couple of big hits, literally. Our star forward Kevin Love will miss the next series and possibly up to 2 weeks, as he had his shoulder dislocated in a scrum for a loose ball with Celtic center Kelly Olynyk. Meanwhile, teammate J.R. Smith is suspended for 2 games for his role for that back fist that connected to the jaw of Celtic forward Jay Crowder. Olynyk has received a 1-game suspension. Moving forward to the action on the court, the Washington Wizards also swept the Toronto Raptors in the 5 vs. 4 matchup. Now in a series that the #1 seeded Hawks looked like they were going to take out Brooklyn early on, the Nets had other ideas in holding their home court advantage and tying the series at 2 games apiece behind stellar play from Deron Williams and Brook Lopez. Also, the Chicago Bulls, who seemed to be cruising to an early series elimination of the Milwaukee Bucks, but it proved not to be. After being on the verge of being swept, the Bucks came back with back-to-back wins in Chicago and at home, forcing a crucial Game 6 back in Milwaukee. And the West, the top-ranked Golden State Warriors swept Anthony Davis and the New Orleans Pelicans behind the Splash Brothers, of course, Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson, with Draymond Green also making huge contributions. The Mavericks and the Trailblazers each won their Game 4 meetings to avoid being swept by Houston and Memphis, respectfully. Look out for the injury to Mike Conley, which might turn out to be huge for the Grizzlies, as he is their floor leader and the glue that holds that team together. The most anticipated first-round matchup hasn't disappointed either, with the Clippers and the Spurs tied at 2 games apiece, and each team taking one on the other team's home floor. This series has come down to the best 2 out of 3, and the Clippers do have home court advantage as they resume play on Thursday night at Staples Center. In local news, the Rainbow Warriors men's volleyball team swept Long Beach State University in their quarterfinal match of the Mountain Pacific Sports Federation tournament held at Stan Sheriff Center on this very busy weekend on campus. The second-seeded and third-ranked Bows looked back on point in this closely contested match, and the victory sets them up against the always dangerous Pepperdine Waves Thursday night in Irvine. The home victory for the Warriors made it their 9th straight, and they had to do so with late rallies in both the second and third sets, combining to save 7 set points, including 5 in the final frame. The Bows were led by outside hitter Siki the Hammer Zarkovic with 18 kills on the night, and sophomore local boy Kapono Faye had 17 bangers and his second straight strong game performance. Once again, the depth of the Bows proved to be crucial to their comeback, as backup setter Alex Jones came off the bench to provide big points, with his service game accounting for 3 straight points late in set number 2 to take that set 25-23. Davis Holt had 2 huge blocks, and Siki the Hammer put it away with his 8th kill of the set. UH rallied again in the third set, down 24-20. Zarkovic once again led the charge with back-to-back kills. A stuff by Holt and Sador and another kill by the Hammer tied it at 24. Kapono Faye and Zarkovic finished off Long Beach State University shortly after that with a couple of big kills, and the Bows advanced in style. In baseball over the weekend,
Starting pitcher out here at for UC Santa Barbara against University of Hawaii, the opening series on a Friday night. 7 innings of no-hit ball.
Disappoint. In the opening game of the 3-game set, Tate held the Bows hitless over 7 innings while striking out 6, consistently reaching 92 to 96 miles per hour on the radar gun, topping out at 98. But it was that tightly wound slider that sets him apart from any pitcher I've seen come through here in years. The Bows dropped that game 5-0, but showed their resilience in Game 2 as junior right-hander Tyler Brashears, who captured the Big West Pitcher of the Week award, dazzled the highly ranked Gauchos. Offense over 7 2/3 innings of 3-hit ball, and the lefty Quentin Torres Costa continued his dominance in recording the last 4 outs to preserve the shutout as the Warriors took Game 2 1-0 to even up the series at 1 game apiece. In the rubber match, the Gauchos got to local boy Jared Arakawa early on, and the Bulls were shut out for the second time in the series 5-0 to drop to 6-9 in the Big West Conference and 15-26 overall. The Rainbow Warriors hit the road for 2 weeks, heading to Long Beach and then to Riverside before coming back home to face the Cal State Fullerton Titans to finish out the regular Big West season. Finally, the women's water polo team find themselves on top of the heap after all was said and done at Duke Kahanamoku Aquatic Complex on Sunday night. The Lady Bulls are the Big West Conference tournament champions after beating the top-seeded UC Irvine in the final seconds of an overtime thriller. The Wahine have captured their second title since joining the Big West in 2013. The victory earns the Lady Bulls an automatic bid into the 2015 NCAA Women's Water Polo Tournament on May 8th through May 10th in Stanford, California. This will be the program's 5th appearance in the tournament. Aloha, and thank you for joining me, your host PJ, on Hawaii Weekly Sports Update. See you again next week.